Hi, my name is Alistair Rhymalister. Don't actually call me that. My name is Aster. Hazbin Season 2 won me over on the soundtrack front. You may be wondering if there's a ranking for Season 1 songs on this channel, and there isn't because that would not have gone over well. Season 2, however, talk about a jump. Andrew Underberg and Sam Haft clearly put in a lot of effort to develop the style they created for Season 1. Overall, that's what impresses me the most. Not that they got rid of everything they established for Season 1, but they took a lot of the elements they established and they used them far more effectively, with a lot more thought. The number of genres and sonic palettes used has seriously expanded and the lyricism is far tighter. That means a video where I rank the songs can actually be fun and won't get me eviscerated. As we go through each song, I'm going to do what I do best, which is constructively nitpick both the positives and negatives, and I really do mean positives in this case. So I know I can get really in the weeds, but I just love doing this, and I hope you find it helpful in understanding songwriting. Of course, I have to put in the disclaimer, rankings get weird. There are several facets to a musical number that can be considered, so they may not rank neatly, but I'll do my best. With that out of the way, let's roll. Number 20. Most of these songs actually felt like complete thoughts despite their length, and justify their existence. Most of them. I did not realize this was a fan favorite. I'm not involved in the fandom, I'm so sorry. There's an endless stream of passion built in hundreds of bugs. Clean It Up feels like someone's unfunny stand-up routine. It's a non sequitur song that can be removed with no consequence. It's just there to give Nifty a moment so we remember that she exists. Can non sequitur comedy songs work? Absolutely, but they kinda have to do the comedy part well. People barf and piss and come on their butts, fun and fun, they feel like epic, clean it up! Guys, the small one is crazy and talks fast and says gross things. Isn't that wild? Actually, there is one line here that amused me. And our rats have grown immune to being sprayed by me, so that's not a bad joke, if you could even catch it. This song moves 1,000 miles an hour because Nifty has the skittering movements of a roach, and that's the bit, but the thing about a song being a bit is that the bit has to be funny. Nifty's archetype is very anime in nature, and the voice actress is Japanese, so the song switches to Japanese halfway through. Because, you know, anime has hyperactive pop rock music. I get it, it's just annoying. It's like that style of humor that was funny in the early 2010s, but I guess a lot of Hazbin fans weren't even around for that, so maybe it's novel to them. I think I DNF'd this song when I watched the episode. I skipped over the first few seconds, saved myself some sanity. Yes! Number 19. The bottom two songs on this ranking should clue you in toward the type of songs I am not partial towards.
I'm here for you, and you'll love being in heaven!
Emily's cheery, bubblegum attitude is reflected in her and Abel's attempt to introduce Sir Pentious to the wonders of life in heaven. Fittingly, the instrumentation of this song is cheery bubblegum pop. I don't mean like Britney bubblegum pop, though, I mean like Goo Goo Gaga flavor.
Any new friends here? Potential amigos around every corner.
For all intents and purposes, this song is meant to be overbearing and obnoxious. These types of songs are always so difficult for me to sort because if they want to be annoying, they're doing their job correctly, but they're also really annoying. That's musical storytelling, though. Not everything is meant to be returned to for fun. What I can easily criticize is poor lyricism. The attempts at friendly vocabulary comes off as extremely forced, which isn't in Emily's character. She's genuinely like that, which is why I can't buy lines like these.
No bullies or bumps, the chums are tens here.
I also cannot buy the rhyme of corner and form your, especially as a B rhyme.
Potential amigos around every corner. It'll be a breezy piece of cake to form your...
Generally, in an A-B rhyme scheme, your B rhyme, the one on lines 2 and 4, should feel more conclusive and solid since you're ending on line 4. The A rhyme on lines 1 and 3 can have more leeway. Also, splitting the sentence for a rhyme is something I saw a lot of in Season 1, and it rarely sat right with me.
Cake to form your brand new squad, crew, or clique.
It feels unnatural, like call it the has-been half rhyme.
You'll make house come hither with every hiss and slither.
You make your pals come hither? What kind of phrasing is that? Just because this song is meant to be annoying and unserious, that doesn't mean you can forget the basic tenets of writing. Emily, or anyone really, would not say it that way in speech, so she shouldn't say it that way in lyrics. Even the refrain of like you is used in a really lazy way.
Here is like you, not one remotely like you. Everyone will like you, 'cause no one here is like you.
Usually a refrain like this is preceded by the rhyme. Here though, there's no rhyme at all. It feels very slapped together. Yes, you can argue that it reflects the veneer or whatever, but Emily and Abel are so earnest, I just don't buy that. Also, a later use of the refrain does employ rhyme, so it's not like that wasn't even a question.
No one here schemes like you. Just genuine blessings like you.
In the next part, which just lists all the saccharine offerings of heaven, there's a rhyme between plex and crack. Like, come on, that's not even close.
You're long at the multiplayer. No one here's addicted to crack.
Penchas hates it all, wants to leave, etc. The song establishes that conflict, yes, it's just so facetious in nature that it doesn't make me want to take Penchas's despair seriously. He's totally overwhelmed by this fluffy nonsense, and so am I, to be fair, but I'm overwhelmed because it's annoying, he's overwhelmed because he misses his old life and friends.
Everyone will like you, 'cause no one here is like you.
Number 18. A lot of people agree on Season 2's weakest link. See, there's a very specific point this season where I message my friends asking, guys, is Charlie stupid?
Step 1, say you'll get it done. Make redemption your resolution.
I don't need to get into it, but narratively she's trying to prove something she could easily prove with a quick video call by creating a convoluted step-by-step plan with Angel as her guinea pig. As is often the case, Charlie must do this in the form of a terminally quirky patter-adjacent show tune. My first issue with this is honestly the title. Speedrun is a term heavily tied to gaming. I'm not sure why Charlie, Princess of Hell, would use it. Maybe she's a gamer, who knows?
Make redemption your resolution. A sober mind's primed for absolution.
This isn't actually a rhyme. The emphasis on both these words is on the first syllable, meaning that's the part that needs to rhyme. Our two syllables are res and abs, which do not rhyme.
Step 3, dignity. Try dressing more modestly.
That's also a non-rhyme. Dignity emphasizes the first syllable, so that's where the rhyme has to start. Again, modestly is the same, therefore, no rhyme. Since the song is structurally a numbered list, that means the writers have a very easy template to work with and can simply throw in appropriate rhymes with each number they actually use. They do skip many of them to invoke the feeling of a rushed desperation.
5, 6, 7, 8, come on buddy, concentrate!
Of course, that also means an easy shortcut for the lyricist. I will say I did appreciate this rhyme scheme.
Change some babies and helpful ladies across the street. Isn't he sweet?
I do like when a rhymed line extends into a new part of the scheme. No, this isn't the same as cutting a sentence in half for a rhyme. This is more deliberate, natural, and rhythmic. The rhymes in this song are, for the most part, natural sounding. Clever, even.
11.
No question, this guy gets to heaven how?
Step 12, what the hell? Penchas was redeemed by now.
This song is really held back by its context, though, and context can't be ignored in a musical setting. Why Charlie even accepted to trust and work with Vox of all people, who knows? She's an earnest soul, yeah, I get it, but that doesn't mean she has to be a moron. It's pretty obvious that Penchas was redeemed because of his sacrifice and because he was never that bad of a person. His sin while he was alive was cowardice. He did something brave and got redeemed. Charlie, it's a thematic parallel. Have some media literacy, it's not that hard.
This top hat and build a rocket, you gotta commit. Start speaking like this.
I do have to give credit to Henningsen's effort. She does put a lot of acting into these songs. It's just not really that compelling of a character to put the acting in, and it's all kind of the same with Charlie. The song's under 90 seconds, by the way. Not much else to discuss.
Attention, we'll speed run from here, redemption.
I hate you.
Number 17. In agreement with popular belief, I am a bit lazy. For my writing, though, I consider that a feature, not a bug. See, I believe conciseness is king. I'm not cutting corners, I'm just saying what I need to say and then moving on. That means I don't like to make things up. I won't add fluff to a review of a song if there's nothing there to talk about. That's why this is going to be the shortest review of any of the songs.
These Elysian nights, alone in the golden.
Putting a harpsichord over a 2000s pop ballad backing track is something I should have seen coming from Hazbin.
Memory of how it used to be when it was only you and me and our old petty.
I'm gonna be honest out of the gate, it's hard listening to Penchas sing, because it's hard for anyone to sing in a character voice with that heavy an affectation. Not to mention, Penchas emphasizes the soft S, which grates on me personally. Audio software will often have a setting to DS recordings, and they have that for a reason.
They say time heals all wounds, but the wounds are what I miss.
This song really suffers from its characters. Cherry Bomb started singing and dropping weirdly emphasized swears, and I remember my first thought was, wait, who was this again?
Can you hear me calling from way the fuck down here?
I had to be reminded by a friend that this was Penchas's girlfriend. They're a nerdy guy, violent girl pairing. There's not really anything to them though, so this song is attempting to construct their relationship in hindsight.
Whoa, what's the score?
How the hell she gets on board? And boys, kill that vandal!
I'd be like a minion scramble.
But even then, it barely does that. They were rivals who fell in love, that's it. That's why I don't really have much to say about the song. It sounds decent and the lyrics don't leave much to dissect, they're fine. The instrumentals are so generic, I probably could have written them by myself in a couple of hours. Take out the harpsichord, and anyone born in a year beginning with a 1 has heard these exact instrumentals before. It's inoffensive and bland, and in a musical, that's the last thing you want.
Right through my soul while I was beating the piss out of you.
Number 16. I have to put it up front. I don't inherently dislike cheery ensemble musical numbers. I don't dislike motivational musical numbers. However, I do think they can go wrong pretty fast if you aren't careful.
When I think about the future, I see a better place.
I knew we were in trouble from the first line of this song.
Better place where everyone can coexist safely.
I heard safely and knew immediately that word, a word with no good rhymes, was going to be rhymed.
'Cause when I'm with you, the rest is all easy, baby.
Man, not even close. I also knew this was going to be a song where everyone gets their input, which, man.
Our dream, working as a team.
What? Why was that harmony like borderline dissonant? It sounded dark and evil, not a great way to underscore a cheesy line about teamwork.
If we plot the right maneuvers, we'll chart a course to win.
I don't know who you are.
Blow up any cunts who would fight us.
I barely know who you are.
But it's time that we begin to prevent the war and find a way to unite us.
Okay, I'll take fight us and unite us. That's pretty good. These two lines together, though, that's not how those verbs work. You can't begin to prevent something from happening. You just prevent it. Prevention doesn't rely on time, it relies on action. You need to prevent the war. Ah!
An only true God. No more playing house. Once they're devoured, I won't need a squad.
I'll take these. These are good lines. They cement Vox's motive to be the sole ruler, with the V's just accessories to help him.
Get up there.
You will fuck it up.
Just what?
You'll never fill your cup.
As an aside, I never like it when Alistair curses. He's a radio guy. Radio is a famously clean medium. I've heard it censor the word devil in Doja Cat's Paint the Town Red. This also isn't the rhyme you think it is. We run into the issue of stresses again. Alistair's lines here have the stress on the third to last syllable, so the rhyme should start there. Up isn't where the rhyme starts, it's the other word. Sorry, my dad watches these videos.
Val, don't be dramatic. He's just a man. He's being rude because...
Oh yeah, there's also this really weird addition to Valentino's character to make him, like, sympathetic. Vivzy, girl, it's Valentino. Even among the demons, it's noteworthy how despicable he is. After we've added some wistful yearning to the literal pimp, Velvet comes in to swear a lot, and we go to other characters.
Is my halo on? I'm gonna shit my pants.
What the fuck is wrong? This battle is a chance.
Do not do this to Gravity, its melody is way too good for this. It also doesn't really work for conversational singing, it's too segmented and the delivery is too intense.
Yeah, don't deserve your dad's crown.
I know there's no stopping it.
Time for Sarah.
A screaming conscience I cannot silence.
Come on, rhyme it with violence.
Death's to come, the realm's drowned in crushing violence.
There you go. If this song is supposed to hype me up for the final episode, I have to say all it did was really remind me of the weaker parts of Hazbin's songwriting and character writing. On a pure sound level, I originally had this a few spots higher, but it really brings itself down when you pick it apart.
Today's not our last one.
Number 15. I think Rent did irreparable damage to musical theater.
Hear my hope. Let it echo.
Despite being the 5-minute season finale song, Hear My Hope has a grand total of 1 line in the first minute I actually found worth pointing out.
Oh, we tried, didn't stand by with fingers crossed.
I like that. I like that as a way to say they didn't try in thoughts and prayers their way through the struggle. The rest of the lyrics are just so painfully generic. I'm surprised I didn't see a cosign by the Dear Evan Hansen guys.
Even one soft sound can shake the hardest ground.
This is the longest song of the season by far, yet I don't expect this review to be even close to the longest in this ranking.
Story about how all hell joined hands and sang along.
I think the reason this feels so uncanny to me is because the rest of the soundtrack isn't like this at all until the final 3 songs. The song does get interrupted by a lute though, and unfortunately Abel.
Doing here? I'm here to finish what I started.
Let's get Emily and
No,
go.
how can you be so cold-hearted?
Here, have a non-rhyme.
Everybody dies if we don't do this. And so be it, don't persist.
The next 2 lines after these rhyme, so I assume do this and resist are meant to rhyme too. However, if you couldn't tell by how I pronounce these 2 elements, this needs to be a double rhyme. Do and re don't rhyme, so this couplet doesn't rhyme.
Loot, this isn't what we talked about.
This is so funny to me, like, yeah, Abel, I wouldn't expect Vengeance McBloodthirst to be peaceful in this situation. Abel is also voiced by Patrick Stump, the lead singer of Fall Out Boy, and he's used nowhere near as well as he should have been. This is the strongest part of the song though, so I'll give it that.
Can't breathe, vision's getting blurry now. Nosebleed, never been so worried.
These sound like legitimate pop punk lyrics. Just improve the production and it would pass for a cut Fall Out Boy song. Get back the guy who produced Gravity for you, come on.
To handle the pressure, it would have been better if I were anybody else.
Like, that's such a pop punk way to end a verse. I wish I could be anyone else. Screw you, Dad.
Prayer, get a grip, throw a pair. Let me stop you right there.
Okay, down goes Lute. I really hope this isn't the last we see of her, and if it isn't, I hope the monkey's paw doesn't curl. After this, we go back to the inspirational ensemble number. There's still 2 minutes left in this song. It sounds passable. Everyone joins in, and I do mean everyone, to stop the weapon from going off. It's like the end of Pokemon Legends ZA, but without the wit. Never thought I'd say that about a Pokemon game. Layered harmonies, repeating chorus, whatever this is.
Yeah,
Quid pro quo, it's only fair.
you really are a demon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Alistair's arc kind of wrapping up and him getting out of this jam in this little, like, bridge segment. This has no place in Hazbin Hotel, I'm sorry. At least not until, like, the last season of the show where everyone is ready to be redeemed or something. For now, it stays near the bottom of my list. Number 14. When I listened to this song, I knew right away that it would probably be the most difficult to place. There's a lot I appreciate from a thematic standpoint, and a lot I appreciate from an ear standpoint, but there are points where those things come into serious conflict.
Holy shit, is this true? Alistair's been defeated.
The start is a good example.
True, Alistair's been defeated. By Lucifer? No! Who? That's self-absorbed TV head.
Thematically and structurally, it's great to have these lines about newsbreaking to be communicated through more conversational lyrics. The problem is that it's not passing the ear test. Defeated and TV head is a hell of a slant, and the stresses don't line up unless you enunciate defeated in a strange way like the singer does.
I heard Vox fucked him with a chair. Either way it seemed in the radio demons of the air.
As a positive, the section has great backing. The percussive high-end piano notes are balanced really nicely by the low horns. The loop is solid, it's not overtaking the singers.
Ever seeing power shift this fast?
With all his smarmy talk, I thought Vox was just gassed up.
Okay, that bothers me. Why the has-been half rhyme? You can say someone is just gassed. It's actually more correct. Gas can mean nonsense. Gassed up means raring to go. Girl, why did you national anthem that? I did not catch a word.
So I've had a stroke of luck, it's true, but I'm not one to rest on my laurel.
The strongest part of Vox's songs this season is the variety of genres and sound palettes they employ. It's not good because it artificially switches things up, it's good because it's an effective way to show Vox's attempts to appeal to certain people or groups, but I do have to address the line.
Better time to reinforce our crew, grab an olive branch, go knock on some doorals.
This line is so kitschy and forced, I legitimately could not decide for a while if it loops back around to being good in an ironic way. Vox is being fake and agreeable, we know this, but Aster's patience has limits. Guys, I gotta keep it a buck, this line is ass. Vox songs really rely on their instrumentals, and that can really hurt them.
I hear that heaven has some pretty sick venues, open a club up, make a hub up, drop a beat to amen to.
Like I said, he's switching between sounds to cater towards his audience, but these lyrics, man, they're testing me. There's a rhyme between venue and amen to. The switch-ups here are also completely disconnected from one another.
Hey, prick and hatchet, best believe your gang fights are gonna be bad. I know a tranquil realm where...
Ideally, there should still be an element that threads all the genre shifts together, so Vox retains his identity and the song doesn't give you whiplash. The song finishes on a pretty strong rendition of the refrain, and it does have that added electronic element that, like I said, identifies Vox. There are ideas I like here, but the execution leaves a lot to be desired.
Cha-cha-cha! Stop it!
Number 13. One of Hazbin's narrative issues is that it has this thesis about redemption that isn't explored as much as it should be. The driving force of this thesis is Charlie, and she's regularly sidelined because, well, I mean, his villains are pretty cool. Towards the end of season 2, they started to remember what the show's actually about.
Humans are afraid.
Any actor who's willing to sing a heartfelt song in a voice this ridiculous gets a round of applause from me. That has to kill the soul a little. Unlike Piss, which I hate saying that name, Live to Live lacks a harpsichord, which is the one thing that distinguished the former as a Sir Pentious song. Instead, we get a very 90s inspirational palette.
Mortality's a blade, swinging with no reason, no rhyme.
I will say I don't mind the general sound of this song. It's very pleasant, it's just not doing anything particularly special. Still, if you gave me this instrumental and put better lyrics over it, I could get behind it. It's very saccharine, and Hazbin is allowed to be saccharine. It's not exactly a subtle show, but I also don't know if I can get behind the message of this song in the context of the show.
Any sin to any man, just so you can live to see a ray of sunshine.
It does make sense that Pentious, who was sent to hell for the sin of keeping his head down for self-preservation, would say this if he wasn't surrounded by literal murderers. This song is the next one after Brighter, where we see a human Vox kill like 20 people for nothing but personal gain. I don't think he was scared of his mortality, Pentious.
To fail a million times until you finally yell Eureka!
I don't know if I'm ticked off more by the weird over-enunciation of a million, or by the rhyme of either and Eureka. Yes, I know his accent makes that rhyme more than it does when I say it. I just have a feeling that line was thought through a little too hard.
Would kill to live to live.
That doesn't seem like a good argument to make with someone over your redemption. Here, kill could also be seen as being used for exaggeration, like I'd kill to do that, but this is Sarah he's speaking to. She may not catch that. Dude, I was just killing so I could make it to tomorrow and live my life. Speaking of Sarah.
With Adam, you feared your death,
Yes.
but fear didn't drive you to wickedness.
I love making this joke. Your death and wickedness is so slanted it's perpendicular. That's painful. It's wickedness, not wickedness.
You were brave, you sacrificed yourself to save another's life.
Does this story realize why Pentious' redemption makes sense beyond the surface level sacrifice? Maybe I'm looking too deep in it, and by too deep I mean below like one layer, but my understanding is that his sacrifice actively contrasted his sin. The characters in the show mention that it was a sacrifice, but they don't mention how it directly counteracts what his sin was.
How does a guilty soul shed their sin?
It starts with sorry.
Come on, dude.
Mistakes are innate to being human and alive.
That's a redundancy. Human and alive are basically the same thing in this context.
Prevents the fight, then I must make things right. That's what I'll do so no one kills.
It's a shame that Sarah's voice actress, Patina Miller, is sort of wasted on these quite honestly hokey ballads. Her voice is gorgeous. The writers also just can't seem to find a fitting lyrical voice for her. It's always too plain or too informal. You'd think a character like Sarah, who's a high angel, would use language that's more poetic and more exact in terms of rhyme and meter, something more classical. I guess we gotta live to live, and live and learn.
Live again tomorrow.
Number 12. See, the problem with these intros is the moment I say opening number, you already know what song I'm gonna talk about.
Come on in. Here's your key.
The first song in Season 2, Hazbin Guarantee, is one of multiple songs this season that experiment with switching up the instrumental style to match what character is in focus. This song, being an advertisement for the hotel, fittingly starts with Charlie.
The hotel. That's great.
This delivery alone bumped the song down for me. It's within the first few seconds, and it sounds like that time Awkwafina rapped in the live-action Little Mermaid.
Remember the swamp?
This isn't the only faux pas in the first stanza either. There's also this directly afterwards.
If you parked your car, we'll validate.
Two things. One, validate is a transitive verb. Can't just leave it hanging like that. You have to include the object it's acting upon. Even if it's just the word it would fix the grammar. Second, I'm not sure if this line is supposed to be a joke or not because valet is the correct word, not Validate? Parking someone else's car for them is valet service. My guess is that the rhyme with great was needed and validate qualified, but like the line is outright nonsense now. After this opening stanza, though, the song does pick up in terms of quality. The next stanza offers great character work and snappy lyrics.
The price.
Full of drunks.
Full of cunts.
Full of sticky floors covered in junk.
None of these rhymes feel forced, the meter is on point, I like it a lot. Besides Alistair's line that leads into the next part, it's 3 syllables per line. Nifty's line creates separation by being 9 syllables, but it keeps the meter well because 9 is 3 times 3. Each character's single line is effective at reintroducing them. The performances help.
Don't mind them.
No one does.
Or that whole cherry.
Even the comedic timing of that explosion is great. When you have an ensemble cast, it's crucial to establish the characters early on, and in musicals, an opening number can be a perfect opportunity to do so.
It's possible, I really, really hope. Cause if it isn't, then my whole life's been a fucking joke.
I hate to say it, but it's actually Charlie's parts that bring the song down for me. I appreciate the attempts at dynamics with her, but her actress just leans so hard into nasally Broadway voice, and Hazbin's use of swearing can be grating to anyone. I get that she's frustrated. The stanza even ends on an unmelodic non-rhyme to emphasize that.
Him get fucking murdered right in front of me last month.
But just because I get it doesn't mean it sounds good.
The shit.
Have a beer.
I don't drink.
I just know you're gonna love it here.
Much like the previous stanza, though, the following stanza repeats that motif I really liked. Again, comedic timing is on.
No, I can't make a fucking Mai Tai.
There's this sort of bridge afterwards. It's used to transition to the V's part, another character introduction. Before I move on to that, though, I want to point out the rhyme between guidance and violence. It's actually a pretty impressive slant. Kudos.
I'm seeking guidance. Come on, everybody. I'll never turn to violence.
For the V's, the instrumentation goes from typical Broadway orchestral to a more modern electronic sound. Fitting, and again, we're establishing character, this time through instrumentation. Doing this usually gives the audience a sense of what the character's songs will sound like later down the line, though in this case, Vox won't follow that pattern.
Got you snoring? That scene was fucking boring. Have you considered a vocation that is more rewarding?
You hear that, and it's like, yeah, that's them all right. I will say, some of these lines I didn't need to hear.
Wax that gooch and pull that strip.
Snip, snip, snip.
Marked all your holes.
Yeah, it's Hazbin, it's crude, but there's a difference between being clever and being gross. We learned that from Taylor Swift last year, didn't we? Not so easy to do Sabrina Carpenter's shtick, huh? I do want to add that the refrain/breakdown of Trust Us actually has a really nice, sinister electronic sound to it.
Us. Just us. Trust us. Take all these stars
Another issue I have is with Vox's parts specifically.
that they changed the channel, and we can't sell the scandal. Hope you had fun, but we are done with you. Your run is canceled.
Unlike the other two Vs, Vox has a very clear and enunciated delivery, so these slants don't land cleanly. It's very obvious they're slants.
Finished. I'm not kidding. Get the fuck out of my building.
The song goes into a back and forth between our two parties for the final section. The back and forth is actually handled neatly. It doesn't feel jarring at all.
Come on in.
Come on down to the tower and see how great your afterlife.
Overall, the song covers a lot of ground in a concise span of just over 3 minutes. That's impressive. It's a solid opening number, but I'd say it has high highs and low lows.
Trust me. Just me. Trust us. No, I meant to say.
Number 11. Knock knock. It's Stephanie Beatrice's singing voice.
Dreams are gonna die.
Shut up, you know that I love you.
I will always give Hazbin a smack for that, by the way. Beatrice's voice isn't bad, but you're putting her up against Broadway stars. That's not exactly fair. It's also hilariously distinct from Vaggy's speaking voice.
Hello and welcome to the Hazbin Hotel. My name's, changing. For now, call me Vaggy. Have a lovely day. Here's your key. Thank you so much for staying with us.
But that's enough of this spiral. Some of your dreams haven't come true.
But I digress. The song's placement is weird. Charlie is having a breakdown about her insecurities. Vaggy cuts in and says, "Shut up, I love you, let's do the dirty." I suppose it's as poorly paced as everything else with Charlie this season.
Some of your dreams haven't come true. Well, here's how we'll break the
The way Vaggy downplays Charlie's glaring mental errors is pretty funny and pretty sweet. I know that's not the intention, but saying Charlie's dreams haven't come true when she directly gave Vox the ammo he needed to take over is dancing around the issue, I'd say. I can't hate too much on Spiral and Cycle. I once considered that rhyme for a song, and I've told far too many people how I ended up going with Spiral and Drywall. I'm still not huge on it though. Spiral and Cycle is a slant rhyme that employs assonance, where the vowels match but the consonants don't. I think the issue comes from the consonants, specifically the middle ones. R is a soft consonant while the hard C in cycle isn't. That means there's a distinct stop in cycle that Spiral doesn't have. I noticed it more because it's on the B part of this ABAB rhyme scheme, so my ear expects a rhyme that's closer and more conclusive. That's really picky though, especially in this pop-inspired genre. Pop songs generally have less strict rhyme schemes, and I think it's because too strict rhyme schemes sound frankly unnatural and less relatable.
Your hand, my hand, your body and mine.
I swear Beatrice sings everything directly through her nose, but that's enough negatives for now.
They can withstand the fire in line.
The technique of using internal rhymes on conclusive or transitional lines appears a lot this season, and that's for a good reason. It's almost always effective if it can be pulled off in a way that feels natural. Slants do help with that. Canon withstands slant, but it still works rhythmically and doesn't distract from anything. In fact, I think a perfect internal rhyme would be more distracting.
'Cause anyone who finds love in hell can do anything, baby.
This Latin pop-inspired beat is balanced and catchy. The horns might be synthetic though. They're well placed from a purely compositional standpoint, but they do sound fake. Unlike the nylon guitar, no one is credited on horn, so I think that's a safe assumption. Regardless, I commend the songwriters for going into yet another genre and even going as far as finding real guitarists for it.
No blow comes close to fatal for this princess and fallen angel.
I'd be lying if I said I'm discounting the cute factor. It's sweet seeing a couple actually act like a couple. I can believe these two characters are in love during the song, even during some of its clunkier moments.
My pillar, my heart's a filler, but there's no way this lining's silver.
Okay, so lyricist? I want you to read that sentence aloud with no melody. You're my pillar, that is a thing people say. My heart's fulfiller, that isn't. But there's no way this lining's silver. And neither is that. There are so many other metaphors you can use besides pillar. Why were you so set on that one, knowing you'd have to rhyme it twice?
Souls, one goal will never lose. 'Cause anyone who finds love in hell.
Henningsen is really running laps around her duet partner here. I think they actively had to turn her down in the mix. I skipped ahead a bit, I know, but I also don't know what else there is to point out with being even more nitpicky. I actually enjoy the back half of this song quite a bit, where it's just the chorus repeating. These are just lovely harmonies.
You and me don't need no one else to make it through the crazy. No.
The vibe is right, it's an adorable sentiment, and honestly, I relate to it. I have seen some people theorize that this song was a rather last-minute addition. I can buy it. The song ends on 2 plays of the same chorus. That's a musical number no-no, usually.
You and me don't need no one else to make it through the crazy.
Still, I just can't deny how nice it sounds. I really think the actors carry in that regard. They sell it. And I'll give Stephanie Beatrice her flowers too.
We already found love in hell. The rest is easy, baby.
Number 10. Some people in this world hear an orchestral string sample and can be lured into it so easily you could make a Looney Tunes cardboard box trap with it. It's usually pretty obvious what songs you put under that box.
What have I done?
I don't know what to do.
We love seeing characters have their values and beliefs challenged. I like this song conceptually, I'll give it that. I like the sweeping orchestral backing.
Thought I was righteously leading our people, but now I'm faced with the truth.
It does suit the situation of an angelic higher-up questioning herself. It's very dramatic, very flowy. I do take issue with the lyrics. The first few lines give us a slant between people and evil, for one. Both of those words are really tough to rhyme. I personally wouldn't have used either.
Truth. What kind of leader can't tell good from evil?
Regardless, the first 2 lines are a bit blunt for my liking. I'm not saying to write metaphors that no one understands, it's just that for someone admitting to their moral confusion, you'd think they wouldn't come right out with it.
All those poor souls, how many could have been saved?
There's actually an easy fix. Put the concept of the last 2 lines first. That way, the realization comes out before the admission. Also, during this section, you get a really lovely suite of arpeggios creating this driving rhythm in this otherwise very sweeping song.
How could I trust in a justice so cruel and depraved?
And that little rhythmic addition helps carry the lyrics as you heard there. It's subtle, but it's effective. The switch to a major key for the speaker, wait, oh my god, is that Liz Calloway?
One seeks an answer that one cannot grant her.
It's heavy-handed, but otherwise generically lovely.
You're looking for light, only you can ignite.
Not only do I think that melody from the beginning of the chorus should have gotten more development, I also don't think ignite is the right word to use. It's technically correct, but I associate ignite less with illumination and more with fire or machinery. Those things can create light, sure, but I wouldn't say I ignited a lamp. It's one word, yes, but this kind of duet relies heavily on its lyricism. It makes me want to listen to what's being said, so when what's being said sounds off, it distracts me.
Every transgression must serve as a lesson.
This is a really weird way to say learn from your mistakes, seeing as transgression means breaking a rule. It has a very negative and intentional connotation, not very comforting, which clashes with the instrumentals. What saves this song for me is the final part. The lyrics are finally clicking, and with that in place, everything comes to life. Like this more militaristic sound that blends surprisingly well with what's already been established instrumentally.
No wiser than when I commanded the slaughter of those sons and daughters.
Or the way that Patina Miller is able to communicate the desperation that leads into the final chorus.
Me a sign, what's your guidance? Please show me the way.
I love that lyrical rush into the grand finale. It's grand, it's desperate for an answer. The melodrama of it all isn't exactly Hazbin-like, I'll admit, but I do like it a lot, especially that ending. Sarah is finishing the song with the crux of her self-doubt. That's perfect.
How do I?
Overall, though, I wouldn't say the song is doing anything particularly special, and it's really held back by most of its lyrics. Even during its best parts, some of the lyrics just feel esoteric, and I'm not really sure what they're trying to communicate on first listen. But this song does show that the songwriters are capable of adding melodrama where they need to, it just needs to be refined.
How do I?
Number 9. Hey guys, remember Husk? Remember how Keith David is in this show? I have a feeling he was very, very expensive.
You know, it's been such a long time since I've been out.
This is one of 2 songs on this list I actually went and re-recorded the segments for because I didn't think I gave it enough credit the first time around. Love in a Bottle starts a bit slow and meandering, but when it kicks in, and it's a great way to show how quickly Husk can fall back into his old habits.
Then another, and another, and another, and another, and another.
From a purely sonic angle, this song sounds fantastic. I'm a sucker for New Orleans jazz, especially when it's this tightly mixed and almost frantic in nature. Plus, the lyrics have a really strong grasp on rhythmic emphasis. We hear it right from this first chorus. The chorus is punchy and effective. The ending words all being 2 syllables prevents any given line from halting the momentum. To end it, the wordplay of lap it up, laugh it up is clever and incredibly catchy. The verse is no different. The use of internal rhyme pulls you around, placing you right with Husk in his spiral.
Top shelf double rocks for the scotch. I missed the tune of tumblers clinking.
See, listen to that. Double rocks pour the scotch. I missed the tune of tumblers clinking. You also get that alliteration to help with that momentum. Another thing that impresses me is that despite using a classic set of analogies like gambling, the lyrics find a way to keep the motif fresh.
Kick the sin up a notch. Diving in quicksand faster than sink.
No lyrics feel particularly forced in the sentences they're in, which is crucial for the song's dynamic. One awkward turn of phrase or super slant and the song could crash. The second chorus is followed by a bridge with a slightly more relaxed atmosphere.
Is in the ice of the beholder. Jim never lies or fucks you over.
Right when you feel comfortable, though, there's a key change. It really is a slap. The energy kicks back into gear and you realize how far Husk is slipping.
The water and it's all 100 proof. Love in a bottle, love in a...
I just wish there was more to say about it in terms of story impact. The song doesn't go anywhere or do anything, and we're talking about a medium where songs kinda need to justify their existence. Since Husk is an afterthought in Season 2, all Love in a Bottle can do is be a very pleasant listen while it stays lyrically stagnant. It can't be a cap for something in the story, and it's not establishing anything we didn't already know. Don't waste Keith David like this, please.
Love in a bottle. I don't need nothing that's not from a bottle.
Number 8. I already talked in this video about how sometimes a song can sound pleasant but offer nothing story-wise. Is it possible to take one of those songs and build on it? Could you retroactively justify its existence just because it meant another really nice sounding song exists because of it? I mean, yeah.
It's been so very long.
This is the most pleasant 1 minute and 49 seconds the show has to offer. It's a great example of a little bit going a long way, and I don't just mean that in reference to the song length. The minimal instrumentation and classic soft jazz presentation is a fantastic contrast to the bombastic sound of Love in a Bottle.
Since Lady Luck kissed you, still you listen for her.
The rhymes here are simple, if not cliche. Long and song, kissed you and miss you, that's a big one.
Dead inside, 'cause you know it's all pretend.
You can get away with cliches in this context, though. It sets up the song as what could be a generic love ballad, but then it transforms into something more specific.
You're living for the rush, for that royal flush.
Ah, gambling imagery, you never let me down. For those of you who didn't learn about poker from the Mario 64 DS minigame like I did, a royal flush is the best possible hand, so it's not just being used as a random reference here. You're living for the best possible result of a gamble. That's metaphors, baby.
Help falling, going all in though your odds are bleak.
That is one nice internal rhyme. The way the melody plays with it is, dare I say, gorgeous. The song title is a reference to Loser Baby, a duet from the previous season.
Losing streak.
Letting Blake Roman's voice speak for itself was the correct choice here. He has such a clean and twinkly quality to his higher register. Next season, I really hope they utilize it more. Just listen to how it's playing off this glittering high piano. If this were a standard length song, this would have gone platinum in 2005, I'm not even joking. Just add a little bit of R&B and Nia would have covered it with a guest verse by Akon.
Me next to you, 'cause you can't help needing to.
Like Love in a Bottle though, it doesn't offer much story-wise. It offers more than its counterpart, yes, but its biggest sell is still just its pure sound.
Can't help needing to believe in finding what you see.
Even then, it's not long enough to feel fully developed as a track. All that said though, it still shows a lot of healthy restraint and potential development in the songwriters, and its beautiful sound cannot be denied.
Losing. Good luck out there, boys.
Number 7. If you asked me what song in Season 1 had the most going for it, I would have said Stayed Gone. But that's if you twisted my arm. It wasn't my favorite based on sound, but it was my favorite based on story elements, what it was doing for the musical storytelling. I thought Vox and Alistair had a lot of potential for that kind of musical storytelling, it just wasn't met due to the lackluster songwriting. However, this is where I realized the couple W's I had given the songwriters in Season 2 were no longer flukes.
You think your little mockery is gonna make me cry? That I'm bawling.
Don't You Forget has a reprise with some real meat to it. It takes the established structure of the original song and both subverts it and expands on it. Vox's barely restrained frustration is palpable in the first stanza. You can really tell by both the lyrics and performance that Alistair's getting to him.
That I'm bawling about the past that could have been.
Obsession with power has always been Vox's game, and that usually pairs well with crippling insecurity. Vox is an irritating villain, but that's the point.
Wanna do is win.
The use of the show tune sound from Don't You Forget is seriously clever. Vox is going to use this genre as a people-pleasing disguise, so he's leaning into it while also creating a reprise to a song from earlier in the episode aimed at the same target as the original. It's a great setup for later. However, with Vox's songs come attempts at humor and intimidation that sometimes result in double takes.
You're in my house with my rules and my room with my tools, and worse, you're at
His tools? I know Vox has technology, but tools isn't the word I'd use. It sounds too rudimentary and casual, like I wouldn't call a laser cannon a tool. Wait, is tools actually a reference to Velvet and Valentino? That would be really clever. The visuals don't support that, but it would be hilarious.
gone ass up, your deep fried, your last luck has run dry.
Luck is never used in a sentence as a singular object. Like, you can't say my last luck the same way you can say my last hope, even though both are intangible concepts. Some grammatical gaffes like this can be distracting and make me miss other parts of the song, like this following line.
At last your check is cashed, I'd laugh at how you look so small.
The slants between last, cashed, and laugh provide an extra oomph to the rhythm in this concluding line of the stanza. Read it aloud. At last your check has cashed, I'd laugh at how you look so small. There's also that alliteration to carry it forward into the last part of that line. As for the metaphor, I did have to look this one up. I had never heard cash in your check to mean die, but if that's the case, this couplet's solid. Here's another interesting trick.
Don't you forget, you're on my string.
Because of the original song, our ears expect the AABA rhyme scheme, but we actually get XAXA where only lines 2 and 4 rhyme.
Don't you forget, you are my pet.
You can try to squirm and struggle and it wouldn't do a thing.
That's a cool way to differentiate between the prim and proper Rosie and the hot-headed Vox. His rhyme scheme is looser and has more creative freedom.
I'm just like you, except I'm smarter, sharper, brighter, newer.
I'm noticing a lot of list-making in this song. Vox is a rambler, so that checks out. Of course he'd reiterate. Kind of funny since he's not the radio guy.
So cute you think I care.
As the argument between Vox and Alistair heats up, the song takes a sudden shift into Vox's true form genre.
I'm the master, and you're my bottomest bitch.
That use of swearing didn't even bother me, wow. I found this switch to be just jarring enough. It needed to slap you in the face a bit to represent Vox's mask falling. I also think it's great that it's using the melody from Once We Get Up There. Like that song wasn't just left hanging, it's still a core part of Vox's identity.
All the high and mighty now that I flipped the switch.
The electronic elements in Vox's songs aren't overbearing either. They're heavy, but not that kind of YouTube core heavy that makes you feel like you're inside a whack-a-mole machine. The hits feel more precise, more intentional. I could even pick out the piano still serving as a bass.
Radio's gone dead, you know, the show must go on.
In this case, it's more menacing to have the negative space being put to use, and it sounds a whole lot nicer to listen to than the alternative. And of course, a reference to the best song in season 1 is welcome.
By the time I've had my fun, you'll wish that you had stayed gone.
Don't you forget reprise is a strong use of the technique that serves as an effective progression for both characters. And that's really all I can ask for.
That you had stayed gone.
Number 6. At this point, we're entering the territory of songs that actually motivated me to make this ranking as long as it is. Yeah, we all enjoy trashing on bad songs, but you know what's better than that? Analyzing really good songs. There's more to discuss and use as true teaching moments. It's easy to say a rhyme was bad, but how do you explain when a rhyme goes above and beyond? That's what keeps me going. I didn't have high hopes for Season 2's soundtrack after Season 1, where I only bothered briefly looking at a couple songs. Thankfully, my mind was quickly changed.
It's not what heaven is, it's what it could be.
This is Vox's villain statement song from the beginning of the season. Unlike a typical V song, the instrumentation is far more reminiscent of a show tune, and since we see that in almost every other Vox song this season, it was crucial that they set this up early. It's a fun, dynamic piece that sets up the season's villains well, and I like it a lot more than, like, Respectless.
Like you, and me.
The rhythmic break and hold is an excellent detail. Besides being another strategy often employed in show tunes, it brings attention to the core manipulation of Vox's pitch, one which we'll hear in his other songs. We can rule. All of us. It's not actually true.
We get up there and snag that angelic throne.
This song, being the second of the season, was also the first that showed me the control of the English language the songwriters have now.
Our unholy trinity could make their realm our own.
I know this is just one sentence, but I noticed even there that these are more interesting, more descriptive word choices. Another great detail is this use of alliteration.
They'll pack up all their piety and redecorate.
The extra use of the plosive P adds a derisive spit to the word piety, implying disdain without outright saying it. That is lyrical storytelling. Another example is this extra internal rhyme.
That our tower would look powerful with pearlier gates.
The extra rhyme provides more rhythm, which leads nicely into the conclusion of the stanza by cueing us into it. The next stanza has more energy and speed, so that transitional cue is needed.
There, up to the promised land, 100 billion souls await our...
I'm also noticing consistent perfect rhymes in the song, which isn't typical of Hazbin. I don't add too much bonus to perfect rhymes, but it's just cool to see it.
We're the biggest fish in hell, how about we upgrade the bowl?
I appreciated this play on words a lot too. It's all very clean, it's well pitched, and that even carries into the darker, more sinister sound of the next part. The other two V's get involved, but for once I actually don't mind it very much.
Think of all your dreams that could come true.
Even the wet one.
Yeah.
It's not the funniest, but that at least is on rhythm and doesn't sound forced.
Their wings and make them dresses.
And what's best is...
I'm deciding if that slant in what is otherwise a very exact song works. I suppose you could argue that because Vox is the calculated one while the other two V's are just kind of being pulled around by him, of course they're less exact, they're less calculated. But otherwise in this song, Velvet and Valentino have been pretty lyrically on point, so I'm not sure if that argument holds up.
Princess showed us the way.
To make those haloed cabronas pay.
Still, that's a nitpick in an otherwise great song. I like how unapologetic Vox is with this seething rage. Bonus internal rhyme, by the way.
Your doubting days are done. You'll be cornered, trapped, and tortured. Then they'll end you just for fun.
I actually went back and edited this later because I didn't realize the slant between cornered and tortured until a few listens later. That was smooth. And here's another great rhyme.
Of God, no more dead as we stroll the golden promenade.
God and promenade, that is just scrumptious. This is what I was saying earlier. That was a really interesting and unique choice of words, even for a monosyllabic perfect rhyme. The bar has already been raised and it's only the second song. Oh, and shout out to this ending harmony. I love that chord. It's not just a cliche standard landing on the plain root. And I'm not going to pretend Vox's random swearing ends the song. Number 5, we're almost done. We're really climbing now. So there was a time where this one character's associated sound was electro swing. Those were dark times. Glad we're not in them anymore.
So you better.
Sounds like you really could do with a little reminder.
Don't You Forget is a song I had to go back to while writing the script because I very much did not give it the praise the first time around. This is a great example of less is more.
But remember, my dear, you're in my...
Alistair's a deer, like the animal. We have a pun and an analogy that works naturally. Isn't that fun? The audience's association with this old school gramophone sound is going to be old money classiness. There's a jazziness too that might be a reference to Alistair's Cajun roots from his human life.
You are my pet. I say when to sit and stay, roll over or go back.
Lyrically, I always like when the metaphor stays consistent throughout a song. The metaphor here isn't complex, but it's played with just enough to be effective while not over-explaining itself. Keeping it to just the chorus was a good call. That leaves the verses open to something more dialogue-like.
I've served you faithfully for an age. Obeyed demands, contained my rage.
The choice of a classic show-tuney sound pairs nicely with Alistair's radio theming. His voice filter fits in seamlessly, since we associate this genre with an older technological era that had lower quality microphones. His actor is giving just enough edge in his delivery to communicate Alistair's frustration without going fully overboard. Rosie's delivery also has an old-timey lilt and vibrato that complements Alistair wonderfully.
Years on your behalf.
I know, and you're so kind.
Something I really appreciated this season was Half and Underberg's attempt to expand their genre repertoire. In season 1, this song would have been electro swing. Scary thoughts.
Inspires much less fear. The least that you can do is fix my style.
We get a good balance of both exposition and emotion in this song. Do I have issues with the lyrics? I mean, they sound decent enough, but I'm still ranking things, and I have to be more objective and nitpicky. That's my channel's draw anyway. This song is so good, though. This is like my one specific lyrical nitpick.
I've served you faithfully for an age.
The word faithfully is one syllable too many, and you could hear the singer struggling to place it. It's not a word you can cheat either. You have to say all 3 of those syllables. The options would be to either choose a 2-syllable word and change the syntax a bit, I served you, comma, faithful for an age, or you could stretch out a 3-syllable word and push back for an to match the meter better. I served you faithfully for an age. For and are minor connecting words in this sentence, so you can skim over them like that. My bigger, and I do put quotes around that because it's still minor, issue is the switch to imperfect rhymes after the first verse. These days, I'm a lot less strict about slants, especially for something like Hazbin, but this particular genre asks for more solid rhymes. Old Broadway was pretty strict on perfect rhymes, plus both characters here are old-fashioned and very poised, so ideally that should reflect in their lyrics, even on a meta-structural level. Back to positives though, if we're gonna have slants, I appreciate that this was used as a bait and switch.
Sit and stay, play ball, or just play dead.
I wasn't expecting the word dead to come up there, so that worked. In fact, I think it worked better than a perfect rhyme would have. Plus the double entendre of play dead is cute. Instrumentally, my one semi-complaint is that it's nothing I haven't heard before. It's a pretty generic palette. I can't say that's outright a bad thing though. Like I said, these are 2 very classic personalities, so a classic tried and true instrumental structure fits from a bird's eye view. Don't You Forget demonstrates restraint and thought that only serves to benefit the musical storytelling. Sometimes simple really is best.
Like you'll have to do this on your own.
Fine.
Number 4. Hazbin, put loot in an effective role in season 3 and my life is yours.
Does no one know who they're dealing with?
I've already spoken about this song at length in another video because, wow, this song blew me away when I first heard it. I listen to this song regularly. I have listened to this song enough that I could point out the difference between the show version and the soundtrack version.
Wishing you were there when they needed you, the only soul who's ever completed you.
It's the drum claps and the production on the bass, if you're wondering.
You were there when they needed you, the only soul who's ever completed you.
The energy is ferocious, the performance is impeccable, it all feels incredible. If I could somehow inject that high note into my veins, I would. Gravity is a song you have to loosen up for. To understand how it works, you can't get hung up on lyrical gaffes. You have to take the emotions for what they're worth. You have to be there with Lute. You have to be with the character.
Who they're dealing with? Think I'll let it go. Forget and forgive.
Slant rhymes here are actually more effective than perfect ones. The rage is simmering, and that's 99% of what matters here. Perfection would actually distract from the emotion. It would feel too pretty, too neat. It's not befitting of someone who's being consumed by anger.
The rage in me is terminal. There's no remedy but to burn them all.
That's why I can forgive the objectively bad rhymes of rage in me and remedy, as well as terminal and burn 'em all. When I listen to this, I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing rage and burn. The other words are accessories.
The princess has to pay for what she did that day, for what she took away.
The use of Adam as backing vocals, repeating his intense influence on Lute's mindset, is more than just thematically effective. They also provide a lower vocal line for the layering and harmonization required for a song this heavy.
Heart rate is gonna fall down like gravity, like gravity.
The hook is the main sticking point for some. Hard rain isn't typical wording, and fall down like gravity isn't correct by definition, but let me offer some insight. First, and this certainly isn't intentional, a comment pointed out to me that hard rain sounds very similar to heartbreak, and that changed my life. What's driving Lute? Exactly that. Heartbreak. The phonetic similarity may have been the subconscious reason behind that choice of wording. Second, fall down like gravity doesn't mean gravity itself is literally falling. We know that's not how it works. It means it's as inevitable as gravity. We also associate gravity with falling, so shush. I also admire that this is the one song that uses a biblical metaphor.
The flood's come and now you can bet on tragedy.
Flood, purging sinners, Noah's Ark, there you go, Hazbin. The visual staging is simple, but really pulls you in, and again, that helps you feel it. Black and gray on gold is a fantastic contrast. You're moving with Lute. The animation stays still when it should. The birdcage allegory is clear. I cannot reiterate enough that this song cannot be taken at face value like a lot of musical theater songs. You have to let it resonate on a pure, visceral level. Oh, and the harmonies on that last chorus? Perfection. A complaint I've heard against this song is that it sounds like mid-2000s Christian alt-rock, to which I say, correct. That's the point. The soaring, crowd-pleasing chorus and simple power chords are there, but instead of uplifting lyrics, there are lyrics about bloodthirsty vengeance. It's juxtaposition. It's honestly brilliant musical storytelling. So, do I have any complaints about Gravity? Yes, actually. Where was Lute the rest of the season? You can't just have a song like this then do nothing with the character. Come on, I'm so upset about that. At least we got this song, though.
Tragedy, like gravity.
Number 3. A tough thing about ranking musical numbers is that you have to judge not just by sound, but by context and technicals as well. I have to keep myself honest. Gravity is what I listen to the most. However, it doesn't have the presence or relevance as the next song on this ranking, and credit where credit's due.
You're acting out like you want teachers' attention. Well, I'm the principal of this eternal.
Vox Populi thrives on its dynamic presentation and just the right amount of artistic roughness. The song seeks to do two things. First, have Lucifer embarrass himself. Second, have Vox convince the populace that he's worth making their leader in a way that doesn't feel too comically blatant. The former? That's successful. Lucifer puts himself in a bad spot without his section being unbearably cringeworthy for the listener. The rock backing does a lot. It disguises Lucifer singing just enough so that you don't realize the lyrics are pathetic.
You want teachers' attention. Well, I'm the principal of this eternal attention.
That's a couplet that's try-hard in an intentional way. Much like Lucifer's visual here, the instrumentals are working hard to make him seem intimidating while the actual guy isn't. He can fly around all he wants. Vox is simply not scared of him.
In case y'all have forgotten who's the motherfucking kid.
Maybe this is just me, but the use of y'all here reminds me of Twitter tough guys trying to use it when they've never naturally said y'all in their entire lives.
My ass is spooky. I'm the chef. I am a living aspect of the essence.
Like, yeah, I'm really gonna be afraid of a guy who calls himself both spooky and a living aspect of the infinite in the same sentence, like if Garatina wasn't cool.
Be a head man. I'm nearly a god. Who are you? Just a dead man.
After that display, we get to the real core of the song, which is Vox's section. We're back to the acoustic instruments here since Vox is playing to the crowd and hiding his intentions.
Curious you stopped by to fight me nail and tooth.
Listen, if people heard the heavy electronic wubs, they'd know he's evil. Despot and respite is a really clever rhyme here. Not only
A different kind of despot, bringing respite from divine demands.
Despot and respite is a really clever rhyme here. Does a lot for the momentum, and it's also made up of two words you rarely see in lyrics. The hard plosive and hard stop are great for the rhythm. It's also a subtle, potentially Freudian slip. A despot is a tyrant. Vox is admitting he's going to be a tyrant, just the one people will ostensibly like more.
Hell could be great, and we can make hell great again.
Huh, I wonder who inspired Vox's writing. This is the weakest line in the song. Great again is rhymed with threat in them. That's not a match. Allusion to MAGA is just so obvious. I don't expect Hazbin Hotel of all shows to be graceful about a political allegory, but we could do better than this. Back to the positives.
Take the fight back way upstairs and make them beg and say their prayers and...
This verse is in an interesting rhyme scheme. It's ABBA, CCX, DEE, DFF. That might not mean anything to you, so let me explain why that matters. This is an irregular rhyme scheme that does not hit a conclusive couplet until the end.
You've only got one choice, me, Vox Populi, the people's voice.
Up until that point, the rhyme scheme is effectively rolling down a hill. It can just keep going until something stops it. That's perfect for a political rally speech in song form where it's just gonna keep rambling and rambling until people listen.
Run this ship, hoist the mainsail, paint the decks, have a crewmate to protect.
That rambling rhyme scheme repeats immediately in a second verse. Again, it's keeping the momentum going.
People's voice. Try to picture if we could escape this hole. In fear of days that angels may appear, 'cause
The instrumental backing is effective, it's agreeable and inoffensive, exactly what Vox wants. As a whole, the song is a great example of using every part of a composition to further the storytelling. The songwriters were really firing on all cylinders.
manifest destiny, long as you invest in me, the rest will all fit into place.
This little part functions as a buffer between the two distinct genres of Vox's part. It's creating space so it doesn't give you whiplash.
Meanwhile, this king thinks all of us peasants should be satisfied with an endless existence.
Naturally, aggression works for a part where Vox is rallying people into uniting against a new common enemy. He's genuinely menacing here. He's demonstrating that he knows exactly what to say and how to play the audience.
Smite me! Silence me! That's all you angels know how to do!
The last verse is led by the people, so Vox's propaganda worked within the span of the song. The song is doing what a musical number should do, cement or cap part of a story. This isn't where Vox's plan starts, but it is where it comes into fruition.
Populi, the people's voice.
Number 2. My friend brought this idea up for a song category to me recently. Perspective songs. It's a term for a song whose point is to show the warped perspective of a character to the audience. It will show how they perceive the world, maybe how they got to where they are now. I said I never considered that. That's really cool. What made you think of it?
That's it for today, and remember, trust us with your weather.
I would argue this is the most tightly written song of the season. Yes, I know it's not number 1, and I have my reasons, but this song really is the full package. Literally right from the start, you know it's gonna be a good one.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Electronic rock was absolutely the way to go here. We've discussed at length how electronica is used for Vox's true nature. This is easily the cleanest use of it. The production on this song is wonderful. You have this deep, buzzing, low-end synth, which pairs great with a chugging, distorted guitar. Over that, the quick arpeggios of a higher synth give it balance. Lyrically, Rome wasn't built in a day is an excellent opening line. It captures the essence of the song without bluntly stating it. It's not an esoteric metaphor either, it's a common phrase being used to hint at where the song's going to build to. After all, the Roman Empire did fall.
You just gotta slit a throat or two.
These triplet hi-hats are a staple of electronic production, and Boral's performance is a serious standout. Listen to the visceral delivery on Slit a Throat. Boral also does a great job with his switch to the spoken parts. I love the way the instrumentals muffle during them. Again, very electronica.
Today we mourn the loss of one of our own, but our commitment to the truth is as strong as ever.
And of course, I can't neglect to mention the use of Trust Us, which Vox used in the first song of the season.
Remember, trust us with your new gift.
This song has a rock-solid structure in terms of where and how it evolves. Despite that, it doesn't repeat itself as much as you think. For example, the first chorus actually has a lead-up that isn't found before the other choruses.
If you want it, just take it. The world's yours, don't waste it. Go make the stars align.
That can help ease listeners into the refrain for the first time.
Shine brighter, brighter than the heavens in the skies above.
The chorus is combining the technique of an EDM drop with a proper lyrical refrain, which creates this unique sense of movement that reminds me of a storm, something unstable and powerful. The chorus doesn't overstay its welcome either and become a more pop chorus. It cuts off quickly so it could get back to the story progression.
Over all the eyes look up, brighter. And a big thank you to my producers.
Oh, and the delivery on entertainment to transition from the spoken professional voice to the menacing serial killer voice, that gives me chills.
You can trust me with your entertainment. It's not a shot.
There is one line in this song I've seen a few friends pick at that I want to defend.
If you've got plans, you'll cancel every question mark.
The contentious phrasing is "you'll cancel every question mark." The eyebrow raising comes from Wish-related trauma because a song in that movie has the line "we're here for all your question marks," but the line in Brighter is more acceptable. Here, question mark is an object being acted upon, it's not being used as a stand-in for questions. The stranger word is actually cancel, which is being used to build on the internal slant rhymes of chance and plans. The proper word would be erase or something close to that. I'll let it slide though, because it sounds pretty great.
Fish like to swim next sharks.
Ooh, key change. But there's actually a point here. The key change represents the need for more, the tension, the snowball rolling down a hill that can't be stopped. It works even with the spoken part.
Be a god, Bob. You gotta strike while the iron's hot. Leave the channel to me.
The cracks are starting to form, you could hear it in the performance. You know he'll be done in by his own greed. In fact, the key change goes up again for the next chorus.
With your network, shine brighter than the heavens and the
Ooh, and the way the high-end arpeggiated synth is even more apparent now.
brighter. Go into supernova, all the eyes look up.
As we hit the climax of the song, where Vox is finally taken out by a karmic accident, the production changes to be buzzier and shakier and deeper.
Same old crap everyone's seen before. You want newer, you want bigger, you want brighter. I will be your...
The final chorus, where we're back in hell, the focus of the instrumentation has switched to the guitar, and it's slower, angrier, more vengeful, deeper.
Finally, I'll show them what I'm meant to be.
Genuinely, the only reason Breyer isn't higher is because, while it adds context, it doesn't do much for the story proper. It's awesome that it exists though, it's a showstopper. It's a song full of energy, strong lyricism, and it tells a story in itself. I definitely don't get tired of listening to it. Number 1. Process of elimination really is a thorn for these types of lists, isn't it?
To keep us down. Well, we are not gonna be kept down anymore.
Yes, this song is short, but it does make every second count. I'm huge on the art of conciseness. If you don't need to say more than you already have, then don't. Easier said than done. Vox Dei, which means voice of God in Latin, is the turning point of the season, and it lets you know with a bang.
Consider this a declaration of holy war!
Christian Borle's work this season has had some serious high highs. As the saying goes, the devil's in the details. Christian Borle's work this season has some seriously fantastic highs. As the saying goes, the devil's in the details. Deciding to shout holy war instead of singing it turns the phrase into a battle cry. Not to mention the obvious, Vox has taken the melody Lucifer used in the first part of Vox Populi, reflecting how he's stolen Lucifer's place. Hear that guitar? It's more than a callback to the one used in Lucifer's part. It's once again using Vox's true genre. The electric instrument is just a riff in the background, but it's reminding us about Vox's insatiable need for control and power, his true self. We saw in Brighter that this fatal flaw was his undoing in life, and it will be his undoing again.
Baskets will be bringing decimation that'll put you in caskets.
In Adam's version of this song, this section was actually a single rhyme, not a double rhyme.
Way too big for your screen. Now I'm here to drop the punishment. It's gonna be me.
Vox's version having that extra syllable at the end gives these lines a more unrelenting edge. It reduces the amount of time for a breath to be taken, no time to interrupt.
Show you what it means to be the motherfucking king of hell.
Another callback to Lucifer. It's amazing how you can take the same line and the same melody and change the impact of it completely with the right context and performance. The electronic elements come in next.
I'm the Führer, I'm immense.
It's really about that heavy beat and clap, very trailer version. With Vox's goal achieved, he's able to let loose and revel in the power.
I am the avatar of your consequence.
Pointing this out because this honestly is a really cool phrase. It's easy to forget that avatar by definition means the manifestation of something abstract. Hearing Vox tell Sarah that his current state is the result of her actions is just chef's kiss.
I'm your omega. I'm the flood.
The wings appearing in time with the beat, the little crackles of electricity with it, that's just awesome. Amazing visuals. For the lyrics, it's possible that invoking a flood is a callback to gravity. Oh, and this definitely wasn't intentional, but him saying I'm the omega makes the stem major inside me very happy because an omega is also the symbol for an ohm, a unit of electrical resistance. Get it? Using the same reference, Vox has now turned the angels' philosophy against them. If they can purge the enemy for wronging others, so can he.
I am the nightmare you made when you spilled our blood.
Compared to its counterpart 2 lines earlier, this line also makes effective use of adding extra syllables into the meter. Look, I am the avatar of your consequence. That's 11 syllables. It's right on the money each time. I am the nightmare you made when you spilled our blood. That's 12 syllables. The bonus syllable is from nightmare, drawing attention to a key word with a visceral connotation. Oh, and the ending couplet from this song?
You can swing from, go say your goodbyes to your lives, to your kingdom.
Swing from and kingdom. I heard that and I slammed my fist down on the table. Why didn't I think of that? What a great way to end this ranking. Vox Day, the declaration of war against the unthinkable as Vox is consumed by his megalomaniacal ambitions. It has everything going for it, from the lyrics, the performance, the use of instruments, to the visuals. If anything proves the competence and potential of these songwriters, it's this.
Lives to your kingdom!
Wow, that is a lot of songwriting talk. Now you know how my fiance feels on a random Tuesday night. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. If you have your own rankings, let me know in the comments. Have a wonderful day.